Welcome to Seize the Mains by Malhotra's IAS Academy. I'm Surbhi Sardana and this is Season 3 of our Daily Answer Writing Initiative. This initiative runs in coordination with our website, which is rajIASacademy.com. On our website, in the mains answer writing section, you will see all the questions and answers that we have discussed till today on Seize the Mains initiative. Not only this, we just do not proceed in this initiative by a question answer discussion for UPSC and state civil services, but you can write your answers, you can practice answer writing with us entirely free of cost. Post your answers on our website in the comment section under the questions mentioned on our website, and our team will evaluate and respond back with their feedback in the next 48 hours entirely free of cost. So welcome to Seize the Mains again, especially if this is your first video that you're watching. If you are a constant or a regular viewer of Seize the Mains Daily Answer Writing Initiative, and if this initiative is helping you in any way, do let us know in the comment section. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is the right time because we are coming up with new and useful initiatives every other week, every other day. The topic for today is National Suicide Prevention Strategy or Policy with regards to, this suicide, the menace of suicide. This policy was in pipeline for many years, especially during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. The suicide rate in the entire world, especially in India, it went up because of various reasons. Also, the question with regards to this has been framed. Let's see what is the question for day 126, that is for today. Recently, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare launched India's first suicide prevention policy. What are the features of this policy? Discuss its importance in contemporary times. Answer in 250 words. So, if you have been going through the features of the policy or you have been reading articles in the past 1 week with regards to National Suicide Prevention Policy, the first part of this question should be very easy for you to answer. The first line of this question is just a statement indicating that a policy has been brought in case you do not know. So, they are not directly referring to the policy, they have created a background that this particular ministry has come up with a particular policy on suicide. What are the features of this policy? Discuss the importance of this policy in contemporary times. Now, since this is a 250 words answer, you have two parts to it, so we have enough word limit. But what you have to focus on here is how to write the answer to this question. So what we proceed by is we'll frame a structure for this answer. हम एक structure develop करेंगे कि इस answer को हमें लिखना कैसे चाहिए. First of all, in the starting line, starting 2 to 3 lines of your answer should be about your introduction. इस introduction में आप suicide के बारे में बात कीजिए. Talk about suicide, talk about some data. Your introduction can have definition, data, some reports or statistics, and this creates the background. This creates the background for what you are going to talk about in your body paragraph. हम body paragraph में किस चीज़ की बात करने वाले हैं? We are going to talk about the features of this new policy in the body paragraph. So here just highlight that suicide is a very big problem for India and the world as a whole. In one line, give some data. In the third line, write about any initiative that Indian government has taken previously to bring down suicide rates in the country or to handle suicide in a more empathetic way, to approach it in a more empathetic way. Then just introduce one line that with the vision of this particular thing, Indian government has brought up a national suicide policy. These are the following features. The second part, this was your body paragraph 1. The body paragraph 2 of your answer should focus upon importance of this policy in contemporary times. So this is something that you will not get anywhere, but you will have to relate to the features and see what is the importance of this policy in contemporary times or whatever you see around yourself. So this will be about importance. Your conclusion paragraph after this, conclusion has always to be there in your answers. So conclusion paragraph after this can have either a way forward or a suggestion for the government to implement a certain part of it, or it can have praise. praise of what? Praise of all these features of National Suicide Prevention Policy. So whatever conclusion you want to write, that is up to you. What you can do is, if you have one line of way forward, one line of suggestion and one line of praise, keep the praise for last line and have your one way forward and suggestion for the first 2 lines. Your conclusions should not go beyond 3 to 5 lines, that is maximum, and the same goes for introduction. The difference between introduction and a conclusion is that introduction is always technical. It talks about facts, it talks about definitions, it talks about data. But your conclusion has to be creative. What you think about this policy, what you think could be the loopholes, what you think can be the way forward, or how it could be implemented in a better way as an aspirant for civil services. What is your take on this? So that has to be included in your conclusions. We'll begin with the first part here, that is introduction. In the introduction, we'll talk about suicide in general. So let's see what we have here. Again, I keep repeating this again and again. Our answers are beyond 250 words, the model answers. Yes, that's right. But these answers are for indicative purposes. Out of all these 5-6 lines, you can very well choose the 2-3 lines which are best for you and condense your introduction in maximum of 4 lines. That is not a big problem. We give you long answers here so that you do not have to go to some other sources or find out some other sources for the information part of the answer. So we complete the whole topic as we write the answer. So let's start by talking about India. India is a middle income nation with the largest population of young people and a significant suicide problem. So middle income nation, we are not a rich nation. We have problems of unemployment, people are underpaid, they are not able to find jobs, they are not in the right vocations, and a lot of young people are there, and in the youth there are problems of finding a purpose of life or finding the right job or having a balanced economic and personal life. So, and a significant suicide problem. So indirectly you've said you've explained the situation that is in India, that is not just with the youth but also amongst the older people or the younger people, amongst the children also. We'll focus on that later, but here you've given the broad perspective with regards to India. So 1 in 4 men and 1 in 3 women suicide victims worldwide are from India. That is a staggering data. That is, that raises alarms for us. Suicides claim over 1 lakh lives in India each year. That is a lot. A first step in this direction has been the decriminalization of suicide through the Mental Health Care Act of 2017. So this is what I was talking about. See, in the first line you've given a stance, in the second line, in the following lines you've given some data. Then after talking about data, you cannot talk about something very sad for like 5-6 lines, especially in your introduction. You have given the status that yes, 1 lakh lives are claimed by suicide on an annual basis. So here we have written that government has already taken a positive step in this direction. Suicide was a crime under IPC, Indian Penal Code में suicide crime होता था कुछ साल पहले, but now it is not a crime after 2017, after the decriminalization of suicide through the Mental Health Care Act of 2017, that any person who thinks of committing suicide is going through mental health issues and needs more of empathy and treatment rather than punishment. So there was 1 year of jail term, if I'm not wrong, 1 year of jail term had to be served if some person committed or tried to commit suicide, not committed. So recently the first of its kind National Suicide Prevention Policy with time-bound action plans and multi-sectoral collaborations to achieve a reduction in suicide mortality by 10% by 2030 has been launched. So this is all jargon, this is all what has been related. You must have been reading about National Suicide Prevention Strategy or the policy. So this has been brought in and we have condensed all the information, all the objective of this policy in 1 line only. So this was about past and this is about present. Now you've talked about what is happening in the present, talk about its objective. So the program will reflect the diverse cultural backgrounds of the nation's regions. It will entail identifying important stakeholders and a number of priority areas. So here you've given a broad outline of the policy itself. Policy के बारे में जब भी आप लिखते हैं कि हाँ ये policy है, इसका objective है, आप इसको यहाँ तक भी ख़त्म कर सकते हैं. You can end it till here also, but if you feel that your introduction is short, write 1 to 2 lines more about briefing the policy, more about explaining the policy here. In the body paragraph 1, we'll talk about the features. The features have been divided into 3 parts according to the policy. 3 components make up the National Suicide Prevention Strategy program: an immediate, an intermediate, and a long-term strategy. So there are 3 parts to it. Something that should be that will be implemented immediately, secondly in the medium term in the next 3 to 5 years, and thirdly something that will be implemented in the long run. So yes, if you write this line in the beginning of features, the examiner will understand that you have a thorough understanding of all the features of the policy. Then you can start writing about the features by using this line, that the following features elaborate the objectives of this National Suicide Prevention Policy. So the first one is the immediate feature. In the next 3 years, it seeks to establish surveillance mechanisms for suicide. In the next 3 years, that is the immediate step. Effective surveillance has to be brought in. Secondly, in the next 5 years, that is your intermediate goal. It seeks to establish psychiatric outpatient departments that will provide suicide prevention services through the district mental health program in all districts, in all dispensaries that are there in the districts. Thirdly, in the next 8 years, that is your long-term strategy, it aims to integrate a mental well-being curriculum in all educational institutions. So whatever books we will be reading, the students will be reading in their schools in the coming time, in the coming years, not just schools but higher education also, that will have a chapter or at least a separate part of syllabus regarding mental well-being. So that is a very important step. Let's see how that will proceed. So these 3 establish the 3 main objectives of immediate, intermediate and long-term strategy. Now we'll talk about other important features also, and we'll use the same numbering. To strengthen surveillance of suicide and further generation of evidence through evaluation, that will ensure improvement in the program quality. So here surveillance of suicide would be strengthened and evidence generation will be focused upon. The next one is reduced access to suicide methods. This is very important, that suicide methods will not be accessible. One important point that has been marked here specifically is access to toxic pesticides. So the NSP calls for the phase out of dangerous pesticides. The next one is it aims to create standards for ethical media reporting on suicides and increased media sensitization on suicide. So this is very important here. You know, media has a very big role to play, because we might not be aware of the true situation regarding a suicide attempt or an actual suicide, and media has the whole sole responsibility. They cannot act independently when they have such a big role to play in our country. So ethical standards for media reporting would be brought in, and increased sensitization of media specifically with regards to suicide cases will be there. It aims to increase the number of postgraduate seats available in the area of mental health, which means you will have more people educated in terms of the field of mental health. More mental health practitioners would be there. Not only this, not only the formal doctors, but informally also the young people would be able to take short courses, 6 months or 1 month courses or even shorter than that, and help people to bring down the suicide rate in the country. They will be able to professionally practice as counselors, as psychiatrists. So with the assistance of other agencies and ministries, the health ministry is looking at a number of initiatives, including offering short-term training to non-specialist doctors and others, and increasing youth participation in various activities, because this is the need of the hour. See, as young people, we understand that our peer group, our friends, our family, our relatives, they go through depression, they go through, you know, those waves of feeling happy and feeling depressed. So the more number of people the more the people are involved in prevention of suicide, the easier it would be to bring down the rate of suicide. So right now also, whatever psychiatrists we have, whatever counselors we have, first of all, they are not easily available. Good quality practitioners are not easily available. Secondly, there is not awareness regarding them. Thirdly, they are very expensive to approach because there are very few of them. So the number of practitioners in this regard would be increased with the help of short-term courses. So that is a very huge advancement that is coming. This strategy also incorporates a special focus on preventing suicides during disease outbreaks such as the COVID-19 pandemic. So right now our country is dealing with dengue and chikungunya and whatnot, other diseases also. So a pandemic like the COVID-19 pandemic, it increased the issues of mental health, it increased all kinds of crimes, all kinds of suicide reasons, they were increased, they were strengthened during the pandemic. So it will have special focus on prevention suicides during disease outbreaks. So that is a plus. So these are your eight broad features regarding the suicide prevention policy. Again, this full answer is uploaded on the website. So after this discussion, click on the link to rajisacademy.com in the description, and you can visit our website. In the mains answer writing section, question number 126, the entire answer has been uploaded. Keep it with you, copy it somewhere, and keep adding your points to it, and do write your model answer to it. Now comes the point of importance. What is the importance here? So see, we have written 8 features here. So with regards to 8 features regarding the, for example, what you can think of that, you know, having mental well-being curriculum in all educational institutions, what possible impacts can it have? Or, you know, having a strategy to deal specially with cases in the times of disease outbreaks like COVID-19 pandemic, what importance or what change can this bring? Or any of the points, what specific changes can this bring? So that would come in your significance part. That doesn't have to be studied separately, but that would come in your importance or significance part. So let's start with the importance part. It is going to be very simple as compared to the first part, which was about features and required thorough reading. The strategy comes when the nation is still dealing with mental health issues brought by the losses of COVID-19 pandemic. So it will help people in recovering better from the losses, whether they were economic losses or they had serious mental health issues like depression, isolation due to loss of job, loss of a near or dear one. So just, you know, rolling out this policy gives a recognition to all these people, and the amount of awareness that is being generated after rolling out of this policy, it, you know, validates the suffering of these people, and this validation will go a long way in establishing a cure from the situation, since it gives recognition to the problem of suicide. So the recognition itself is coming as a solution, especially in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic. The important part of the strategy is that the government did not merely include a suicide prevention component in the pre-existing Mental Health Act of 2017, but it has outlined a specific set of strategies involving multiple sectors, multiple stakeholders, research institutions, ministries, community, NGOs, all of them have been involved. What it will help in social support for suicide prevention and community resilience, and this will reduce the suicide behavior. The third one is it provides a framework for multiple stakeholders to implement activities for prevention of suicides in the country, which will ensure that timely implementation takes place. So this follows from the second point itself, but the third point focuses upon is that timely implementation of this strategy will take place because all the stakeholders now, they know their duties. The fourth one, in addition to question of stigma, this strategy is sensitive to India specific issues, social issues, regional issues, how suicide can be tackled in rural areas as compared to urban and educated areas. So including reducing easy access to means of suicide, for instance, pesticides or use of pesticides could be a leading case of suicide in rural areas or in agricultural families, so to say. It will help in bringing down suicide, especially in poor and lower middle class families. So it also vows to leverage the media in order to spread awareness and destigmatize mental health. So involvement of media is going to go a long way to promote responsible media reporting of suicide, all of which will help in more conversations around this topic. You could have more discussions, more TV series coming up, more news channels giving specific hours to this problem of suicide and mental health, and more sensitization of people, leading to increased empathy in the society. So in the society, the levels of empathy and care for each other will grow because recognition is coming from here, sensitization is coming from here. Strengthening data collection. Data collection is a major part of this policy, and with the help of strengthened evidence-based data collection, we will be able to address this problem on a regional basis. So there would be some red areas or some regions, for example, bigger cities where people live in isolated settlements, or some rural areas where families are very poor, there is high agricultural distress. So such areas can be identified with the help of this data collection, and they can be addressed on priority basis. We can start addressing this issue from these areas itself and bring down the number of suicides annually. In the conclusion, there is something that we have kept as fodder for our conclusion. Your United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3.4, it aims to reduce premature mortality from non-communicable diseases by 1/3 through prevention and treatment, and promote mental health and well-being. So this is basically talking about suicides. One of the indicators for this is the suicide rate. So all the policy, whatever efforts that India is making through this policy, that is in compliance with United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3.4. So that is something you can end your conclusion with. Or what you can do is give a way forward also, that suicide impacts all sections of the society, and thus it requires concerted and collaborative efforts from all individuals and the community at large. So this is a way forward, this is a suggestion for the community and for us, for people like you and me, for the community at large. Then you will need to have strong political will, that yes, rolling out a policy, that is very good, but we need to have strong political will. To put out a strategy to prevent suicides must be matched with actual determined ground level implementation. That is required here. Co-opting the various state governments in this massive venture will be essential to ensure success in lowering the suicide rate in the country and achieving the overall vision. Now this vision is the vision of this policy document. Achieving the overall vision to create a society where people value their lives and are supported when they are in need. So this is where you can end your line with. We've talked about Sustainable Development Goal 4 here, 3.4 here. We've talked about what we need to do as a society. We've talked about what the, apart from the political will, what kind of efforts we need to have between the central and the state governments. And here we have ended with the vision. So this basically gives a conclusion to the entire answer, this vision that begins from here and ends here. So this is your entire answer for the day. Click on the link in the description to rajayesacademy.com. Read out the full answer for yourself. Go through it at least thrice. 3 बार कोई भी चीज़ पढ़ना उसको समझने के लिए ज़रूरी होता है. Even if you understand it in the first go, to retain better, go through it thrice when you're practicing answer writing. Only then, after going through it twice or thrice, you will be able to retain points and you will be able to write on your own. Have that independence of your own. And this topic, once you start practicing with us on a daily basis, each and every day you're covering one topic also of your GS syllabus. So that's also an added benefit that Seize the Mains brings to you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Visit our website. Keep sharing your answers with us. I'll see you with another discussion tomorrow. Till then, all the best.